Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, Laura, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thanks for coming by. Thanks for watching the video. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already done that. It's free, and I don't post all the time, but when I do, it's always good. So definitely make sure that you bang the bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. So as y'all could tell by today's title, I'm going to talk about race issues within from the citizens in the cities that you're going to work from. So, like some of the things that may happen, some of the issues that you may encounter, some of the things that you may really struggle with. I know that in our country right now, we are seeing just some really radical times. Things are just very, very intense at the moment. The race issues, the issues with the police, and quite honestly, it's unacceptable. The way that police are killing unarmed Black men, the way that an officer could casually lay his knee into someone's neck and back and think that that was okay. Like the thought of it, and it just repulses me. And the fact that millions and millions of people have watched this man die at the hands or at the knee of an officer just mortifies me. And unfortunately, we live in a world where I don't want to say things like that are okay, but until this moment, other people are seeing it and eyes are being opened and epiphanies are happening, and it's like aha moments, like I get it now. And it's sometimes like, man, why do people have to die for you to get it? But that's really not necessarily what I'm here to talk about today. I wanted to share with you all some of the things that are going to occur as it relates to race and 911. Like, I never thought that I was going to be dealing with race and race issues when I was a 911 dispatcher. Like, honestly, that was the last thing. That was the last thing from and on my mind. Like that race and 911, absolutely not. I wouldn't think it necessarily. But I worked at an agency that was set aside from Dallas, and it kind of did its own thing. It had a lot of affluent people, and that city had if you were from that town, you know that there's a clear divide of, like the North and the South side. It's clearly written there in that city. And so it's like, okay, when you get calls from, maybe the South side of town, you know that it's going to be an affluent person who's saying something, random or whatever. So I'm going to share a few experiences that I've personally had with dealing with citizens. These are not interactions that I've had with police officers at all. In fact, I can't think of, anyway, now I'm talking about at work. I'm not talking about outside of work, but here we go. I've only had callers to treat me differently because of how the race that they thought I was based on my voice. So, and about them calling on other people. So I remember, I will never forget the very first time, it was my very first race-related issue. And yeah, I never forget it. I get a call in, and I'm still, at that point, I was still training, still tethered to someone. And if you don't know what that means, if you're new to my channel, hey. But if you don't know what that means, when you're tethered to someone in 911, it means that you can either be connected to their like they can be connected into your console, or they can be at another console and still listen into your conversations. So I was in that part of my training. And I remember I got a call, answered the call, and the lady said that there is a suspicious man in her neighborhood. And I said, okay. So the thing with 911 is there are things, at least where I worked, and I'm pretty sure it's like this all around. Can y'all hear me okay? I forgot that I didn't put my headphones on today. I'm sorry. Just let me know if y'all can hear me okay. But we have these things called SOPs, which is standard operating procedure. And you have to answer, or you have to ask certain questions regarding, all right, perfect. Thanks, Deborah. You have to ask certain questions regarding the situation. So if someone calls in about, let's say, a robbery in progress, so that means it's actively happening. There's an SOP about robberies, and you have to ask a certain questions. They like you to ask those certain questions in a certain order so that you can make sure that the scene is clear, so that officers can go, so that you can get a description. If there's a suspect, since it's in progress, then there's obviously a suspect. You can get a suspect description. That's the first thing you're going to do. So you want to know if they're armed and who you're looking for, and the description. So they like a description from top to bottom. You ask, are they Black, white, Hispanic, Asian? What are they wearing? Can you give me a description? And they tell you all of that stuff. So in that type of, sorry, oh man, I got distracted. Hey, Mark Logan, sorry. So I like to read what y'all say, but then I get distracted because I tell stories and then I forget sometimes what I'm talking about. So anyway, you have different SOPs that you have to follow with certain calls. I mean, that's just how it is. So this lady called and she said that there was a suspicious person in her neighborhood. And so one of the first things that you're supposed to ask them in the SOP about a suspicious person is, why are they suspicious? Like, what is it about them that made you call 911 to say, hey, this person is suspicious. Like, I'm concerned about my property or about the safety of me. Why did you do that? So that's one of the questions. It's not as like extra as I just did it, but that's one of the questions. And she said, because he's Black. And I was like, oh, like I paused like that, like I just did. And my trainer, like I heard her chair, like I heard her, and I looked and she looked at me like, you know what to say. And I told her, I said, ma'am, being Black does not make someone suspicious. It's not a reason to call 911 on a person. She's like, there are no Black people in my neighborhood, so he does not belong here. He is casing out the place. Like, I need an officer out here now. And I was like, what the expletive? And so I got, I took the information from her because she said she wanted contact with an officer. So we have to send someone out when they ask for contact from an officer. That is the problem that I had in situations like that, because this person was probably just walking down the street, but because some person in their home didn't know who it was, and because it was a Black person, she just assumed that he was going to burglarize somebody's home, as she was said that he was casing the place. Okay. There was another instance when a woman called in and said something very, very similar. There's a Black man sitting in a car in front of my neighbor's house, and I don't know who he is. What does that have to do with you? I mean, I can't say that, right? So, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, what does someone sitting out in a car, a black person sitting out in the car, have anything to do with you, ma'am? Like, why is that suspicious to you? Well, there shouldn't be any black people over here. Why? And at which point I said to her, well, there are no places in this city that black people aren't allowed. Oh, well, you know what I mean. No, ma'am, I don't. I don't know what you mean. So you will need to explain that to me. That is beyond my comprehension. Wow. Every single time I got a call about a suspicious person that was black, and that was the reason that they were suspicious, it drove me absolutely crazy because I didn't get it. Like, oh, why does that make you suspicious? Like, it got to the point with me, like, I told my brother, I said to him, I said, you have to be careful about the way that you present yourself. You have to be careful about what you wear, about the way you walk, even where you walk. You have to be careful of all of those things because it's people every day calling 911 on black people for just walking down the damn street. And people don't believe that, but it is the truth. And if it's any 911 dispatchers that are here listening or that are watching this video later, you know there are people just about every day that call in because there's a suspicious black person case in their neighborhood. I kid you not. But then it's like the flip side. When you have people who call into 911 or they call into a non-emergency line and then they don't really want to talk to you because they know that you're black. Well, they assume that because obviously you don't know what race anyone is by speaking with them on the phone. You can assume anything that you want, but let me tell you this. I have this really awesome work voice. And my name, y'all know my name. That's my name. So I had this really cool work voice. And my name is very inconspicuous. Like nobody knows. So sometimes there was this one job that I had years and years ago. My name is, they would say Laura Bryant. Okay. So unassuming, right? And they speak with me on the phone. Like I said, I had this work voice because, when you're black, you have to talk a certain way in corporate America. You don't talk like this. I don't talk like this at work. They were just so shocked. Like, I remember one time their eyes got big like, oh, you're Laura? Absolutely. Nice to meet you. Absolutely. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. The very first time this happened to me, it was not first because of my race. That this caller did not want to talk to me. I answered the phone and it was a transfer, non-emergency call. I think I may have told this on another video. I don't know. But it was a transfer from a non-emergency call from the police station. And it was one of the public safety officers who was sharing with me that there was a man on the line who and the way that the public safety officer was speaking to me, he says, there's a man on the line who is acting like a word that I can't say because I'm being recorded. And then he said, he's talking about a woman at the wreck that hasn't come to pick up her child and he needs to know what to do. I was like, okay, you can go ahead and transfer him. And he said, just know that he's a piece of something that I can't say because I'm being recorded. Like, that's what he said, literally. So I was like, oh boy, this is going to be exciting. So I answered the phone. I was like, non-emergency. And I didn't say it like that. But, I was like, non-emergency. And he was like, ugh. Like he just literally like sighed. He's like, oh. That shit was funny. He sighed and he was like, "Can I please speak to a man and not some high-strung woman?" And I said, "Okay, hold on one moment, sir." And I placed him on hold and I just bust out. I just started laughing. I just put him on mute and started laughing. My coworker's like, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "This man just asked to speak to a man instead of a high-strung woman." And she started laughing. And I looked around. I was like, "Well, I guess he's gonna talk to this high-strung woman because all the men are on the phone right now." So I picked the phone back up and I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. It seems that all of the men that we have working here today are handling emergency calls. I'm sure that I can do an adequate job with answering whatever question or whatever help that you needed. I'm sure I can help you with it. How can I help you today?" And he was like, "A woman left her daughter at the wreck. What do you want me to do?" And I said, "Okay, sir. Well, first of all, what wreck are you at?" And he was like, "The one on the south side next to whatever." Like he was so vague, wouldn't tell me exactly where he was. And since he called in on a non-emergency number, tip for you, called in on a non-emergency number, I didn't have his location. And since he was being an absolute ass, I couldn't get it from him. So I had to search all of the rec centers in the city and narrow it down so that, he told me like what area he was in. So I'm just assuming that he didn't know which one it was. Okay. So once we determined that, I put it in a call. I started to put in a call for service. You start with the location, then you put the phone number, and then you put like we have like a topic line or something like that, like a subject, just depending on what it is. So in that case, I would have put that would have been like well, okay. When I first put it in, I would have put it in as like what would I put that? What did I put that in as? Well, once I got the information, what did I do? I did it like I know what happened. Let me finish the damn story. So I would have normally put that in as like a standby, something like that. Like once I figured out what's going on. But the man was like, "You know what? I just don't even want to talk to you anymore. I'm just going to go to the next city and I'll talk to them. I'll call them and ask them what to do. Because obviously you don't know." And I was like, "Sir, I can send someone to you." I didn't say it like this, but you're getting upset with me. And I said, "Sir, don't take the kid. Like, do you know her? Like, why would you take her? Don't take her without consent. Like, then you'll get in trouble." And he was like, "Are you fucking crazy? It's my daughter. Why would I take somebody else's kid?" And I said, "Sir, well, this is the first that I'm hearing that this is your daughter. Now this changes everything. It's no longer just someone didn't pick their kid up after a sporting event or after practice. It's now like a custody type thing. Like you're supposed to pick the kid up on Wednesdays at 6 and you didn't. So now I'm here trying to figure out where the hell you are." That's what was going on, but that's not what he said. So then he was like, "What the fuck?" And then he was like, "And just because your parent, your dad hasn't been a part of your life and your people are known for, abandoning their children doesn't mean that that's the type of person that I am." Y'all, I had a whole conniption internally. Because I couldn't go the fuck off on him like I wanted to because I was being recorded. But what I did tell him, because my voice was cracking, because anybody that knows me knows how much I love my father. And my dad was a single dad. And so I think that kind of stung me even more. And he had just passed at that time like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Oh, hell no. So I told that man, I said, "Listen here, sir. This is the first time that you mentioned your ex-wife and the fact that you had one. The fact that you're talking to me like this shows me very much why she is your ex-wife and she's not communicating with you because you don't listen. If you don't have an emergency, I am going to hang up now. Do you have an emergency? He said no. I said, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect. Goodbye. I will not deal with that at all. Like, that is not okay. For someone to classify my family as insufficient. Like, my dad didn't raise me. My dad didn't do that just because you think that I'm a black person on the phone. You think that I grew up in whatever situation you think I grew up in. And that shit is not okay. Man, I'm telling you, I had never been more upset when dealing with a 911 caller. It was another time. It was this woman I was speaking with. I can't remember like what type of call it was. Because usually when people don't want to talk to you about race, they'll hang up. Like, not about race, but when they don't want to talk to you because of your race, they'll hang up so they can get somebody else. Think they won't? Shh. People that call 911 all the time, they know how to do 911. I'm not playing. If anybody on this call, yeah, I got a new job and I've been on calls all day. If anybody on this video knows what I am talking about, you know what I am talking about. Tell me about it. Like, people, man, I didn't in my role have to deal with police officers face to face. I dealt with police officers on the radio. And I only had one negative experience from a police officer on the radio in my whole entire career as a 911 dispatcher. But the citizens, the people in the city, like these people out here who said, I had no idea about racism. They probably are the ones that have been calling 911 on black people all of these years. I am not even joking. I can't even tell you how many suspicious person calls I took because somebody black was walking down the street. Had on headphones, had on a backpack. Some misinformed person in their home, watching the window, sitting at the dock of a bay, calling 911 just because it's a black person walking down the street. That is why we are saying Black Lives Matter, because they do. That is exactly why. This is why we want the anti-racism. So that when you, even me, when me as a person, when I say something that is clearly racist and clearly not okay, that somebody with me holds me accountable to what I've said and really allows me to think and reflect on it. And that I need to do just that, think and reflect. I need to analyze the situation and look at it from their point of view. Listen. You got to step outside of yourself. And this whole situation, all of this has caused me to just really step outside of myself and look at this situation. And like under normal circumstances, like Laura, if you know me, you know me. Like if you know me, you know me. I am a pretty peaceful person. Like I don't have time for the in-between. I don't like all of that. I like things peaceful. I like peace in the Middle East. Like I do. Like I don't want to fight you. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to have a good time. What does that song say? I'm just trying to have a good time. Like that's it. So all I'm trying to do is just like live and enjoy my life in the process. I don't have time for all of that. I don't. I can go protest. I don't mind that at all because I'm going to stand up for it. I'm going to stand up for what's right. I remember when I didn't work for 911, the first nonprofit that I worked for, I remember dealing with racism there. Like someone told me the reason they made Metro PCS was for Black people who had bad credit. I'm like, what the? Who? What? Another guy said to me, he was like, why are the palms of your hands white? And I was like, the palms of my hands, what? And I looked at the palms of my hands. He's like, why are they like tan? Why aren't they the color of your skin? I'm like, go ask Jesus the Christ. I don't know. You tripping. Tripping. Whew. Yeah. Million, I got comments over here I ain't even read. Everybody, hey, y'all. Sorry. Let me just tell you, it gets crazy sometimes in 911, and you really have to check yourself because it's really easy to check somebody else on the phone, but then you have to analyze the situation and be like, okay, what could I have done differently? Or were they just playing wrong? And a lot of the times, they just are playing wrong. And I wish a lot of the times I could call back and be like, you son of a, but I have to remember it is not my battle to fight. Like I had my opportunity and my time on the phone and I did exactly what I was supposed to do. And that's why you can't take any of that stuff personally. Don't take what those people say personally to you on the 911 lines, on the calls and all that stuff. Man, say, you have to remember some of these people are having the worst day of their life. And they just need somebody to listen to them a lot of the times. I don't take it personally, but when that man said that about my daddy, the man say, I wanted to call and tell him and say, bro, come meet me outside the city hall so I can come fuck you up. But see, I had to remember whose I am. And I don't do that anymore. I don't fuck people up. I never have, and I never will. I'm not that chick, but I'm saying like I probably would have did him in. It would have came up in there. I read this meme the other day that says, "Don't tell me how you gonna tell a generation that was raised off a nuck if you buck to not ride and protest." I was like, okay, but see, I again. Let me read these comments real quick. Thank y'all for listening to me talk for 20-some minutes. But you know you can talk to me about anything. And I do have another story that I saved. And I have some pink lemonade mixed with some pink Moscato. Interesting combination, I know, but it's Wednesday. A while out. Just kidding. Yeah, y'all, this was just a lot. It's been a heavy couple of months, honestly. It's been a while. It's been a lot. And my daddy told me, so growing up, I was born in 85 and my daddy was born in 55. So it's just like a 30-year age difference between the two of us. So he grew up in the middle of the civil rights movement, right? And so there were just so many things that he did and so many ways that he would move. And it was just like, daddy, like, it's just white people. And he was like, be careful. And I'm like, it's not like cooties or nothing like that. Like, you tripping. So now all of this stuff that's going on, like, I get it. Like, I remember 20 years ago, I went to Selma, Alabama, and my daddy sat me down and he talked to me about, Bloody Sunday and everything that happened on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And my heart was broken. It was broken into pieces and I didn't get it, but I knew that I had to stand up for the Black people that were going to Selma, Alabama with me, right? And so there was a group of us from my church and it was like 10 youth and only 3 of us were Black. And I was like, listen, y'all, this is what my daddy told me. And we got to stick together. Do y'all know that the people, they put up a picture of our youth group. I'll never forget this. They put up a picture of our youth group. And some people found out that there were Black people coming. and they burned a cross at the pastor's house. Like you could still see the burnt cross grass stain in his yard. Mm. Million says, thank you for your videos. I meet with the psychologist on June 9th. Girl, congratulations. The psychologist was, it was interesting. I think because I had already taken one of those really long psychological exams. So if you've never taken a really long psychological exam, you better get ready. You got to get ready for probably about 5 different tests, like booklet tests. And I go over this in my psychological videos. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, duh. And it's like true or false or yes or no questions. Like, do you love your siblings? Are you sexually satisfied? Do you have black stool? It means just random things like that. And from those questions, they determine whether you are good, bad, or indifferent. And so just answer the questions. Like it's like when I went and took mine, it was a few people in there and we filled in the answers. It was like 5 booklets and I do stuff fast. So I'm like reading the questions. I read like 5 questions at a time. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. I write 5 no's. Nope, 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 nope. And that's how I take tests that are like that because I'm trying to get them done. And I'm just like, just trying to make sure I get everything right because I hate to sit there. But that's just me. That's how I take those types of tests. You take them what's best for you, but my mind can process and remember those things like that, which is probably why I was a 911 dispatcher because I can remember things and then put them down like, all of those things. So, and then you have to go and sit and meet with the person. And so I don't even remember. I remember it, but I don't remember what she asked, not at this point. It was just like a basic little meeting. She asked me how I was, how I grew up, like what was my family dynamic. Do I think that there's anything keeping me from being a 911 dispatcher that I've experienced in my past? Do I think that, I'm going to have a hard time with the job? Do I think that I'll have a hard time if I encounter someone that I know or like run somebody's name that I know or they get arrested or whatever the thing is? I was like, no. And yeah, that was that. It wasn't too bad. She was like, okay, you're good. I'm like, okay, bye, girl. And I left. That was my psychological. It was real easy. Like when it's not nothing wrong with you, when you're not crazy, you good. But when you crazy, then you can't. I mean, some crazy people can fake being insane. People can do that. Like I've seen it done. I've seen it. It happens. The shit is crazy. But don't do that. Don't do it. Don't be a 911 dispatcher if something is wrong, like mentally. They gonna find out. Or you're gonna take a call, or you're gonna hear a call, and you're gonna crack. You ain't gonna be able to like handle it. Then you're gonna get fired. Or you might end up on the news, or your call might be played on the news over and over and over again. And you do not want that. Leslie. And it says, I know this is not the time, but you helped me a lot. My training starts July 9th. Oh, congratulations. It's always the time. Listen, guys, if I'm making a live video, I don't mind you asking me 911 questions, even if the video doesn't necessarily pertain to that. Like, I don't mind you asking me questions at all. And that's why I'm here to do the live, because I know that I can interact with you guys and you can ask me whatever questions. So just because it's not the first topic that I talk about doesn't mean that I can't talk about it with you guys. So that was the topic of the video because I'm going to post this video, duh. But I also want to talk to you guys because I enjoy interacting with y'all. Okay? Don't tell nobody. Now y'all better tell everybody. Laura likes talking to y'all. Okay? I'm tripping. Okay. Moving down to Deborah. Deborah says, I understand, Laura. Hey, wonder if you got my email. I passed Critical. Have you helped me? Laura, you have helped me so much. Oh, I'm glad that I could help you. Here's the thing with emails. I do try to respond to them, but sometimes it gets overwhelming. Because I get like sometimes it's not a lot of emails, but they've been coming a lot more. Like almost to the point that I feel as though I should open up an email account specifically for this, so that I can just check them off and delete them or put them in a folder and move on to the next one. Because right now I'm getting a lot of stuff in my email and sometimes it's hard to see them. So I might be doing that soon, okay? Be on the lookout for that. Whew, I might do it tonight because your girl is missing out on people. And I feel so bad because people are watching my channel even more since I was on that Anthony Padilla channel. What the what? What? So I was so excited about that. Somebody told me in the last video that I was in that. And I was like, wow, I'm just excited. She said, Hockey in Life said, I'm a little late. Hello. Hey, Hockey. Hey. Mark says, I'm waiting on my phone call for my panel interview. I passed everything else. Learned so much from you. Thank you. Oh, Mark, you're so welcome. I'm glad that I could help. Like, again, anytime I can help you guys, just, I would say just email me, but sometimes I don't look at them. But if you write on my live, I'll definitely read it. And if you leave a comment afterwards, I read those too, but sometimes I don't always respond. I try to, but now that I have a job, like, I'ma still do it. Like, I'm not gonna, cause y'all was holding it down for your girl when I didn't have a job. So I can do this for y'all, and my schedule is really flexible, so it will be good. It will be good. Hockey in Life says, that's really good news, Mark. So happy for you. Yes, Mark. A million loves baby alive. Loves baby alive. Girl, you do. Okay, anyway. Girl, you know I watched. LOL. I took that test yesterday. It sucked. Thank you, Hockey. Yesterday I did a panel interview and that damn test. The critical test. Did you pass or do you have to wait to find out? So you do the panel interview and the critical test in the same day? Ooh, interesting. Adana says, I finally catch you live. I love you and your videos. Amazing energy. Oh my gosh, thank you. Listen, guys, I'm not here to cry, nothing like that. But y'all gonna make your girl cry. Like, look, let me set it all up for you. Let me set it all up. Okay, so I've been looking at myself in this camera right now, and I'm first of all thinking, dang, this camera is like really doing me big. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't normally be on here like feeling myself or nothing like that, but I'm like, oh shoot, if shit was open, I'd go somewhere tonight. Cause look, I got my ring light right here, and y'all don't think I'm crazy or nothing, but I've been doing my orientation for my new job with my ring light on. Like, y'all not finna play with me. Y'all about to learn that I don't want to say a diva because I don't really like to consider myself that, but I like what I like. And if I want to look good on camera, damn it, let's look good. But what I will say is, y'all, you know, in the summer, you don't know this, but in the summertime, I like to try to get dark as I can. Like, you probably can't see that well because the light is so bright. But I got me a real good summer tan right now. I'm just loving it. And I don't need to wear makeup. Like, I don't have on any foundation right now. Like, none. And I know this light, this light is just showing you my face, but I am really proud of the sun. Like, can we give a round of applause for Mr. Sun, please? Like, he is just doing wonders for my skin. It's kind of glowing. So I straightened my hair. I'm like, whoo. I said, I want to do my hair different every day this week for orientation. So yes, 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 yes. Anyway, let me stop because I'm being weird. Let me finish reading the comments. Thanks, Adonis. That was really sweet. If you have any questions ever, go ahead and feel free to ask them. Also, make sure you share my videos with people, okay? So other people can watch. Million says I passed the security contest. Okay. Well, what test did they have you take? I don't remember. Like if you send me an email or a message or something, I do apologize, y'all, because I forget stuff. Because I get a lot of emails, and so I don't know who sends them and stuff. So I'm sorry. And y'all names be different on YouTube than they are in email. So I really don't know. I'm sorry. But tell me what you mean. Like you said, that test, and then I'll tell you what. Deborah says, agree. She does have great energy. I wish Laura was our trainer. Listen, if I could do virtual training, it would be fun. Like, I like to learn and I like to make learning fun for others, but I think I can be tough. And that's just because I have high expectations, because I feel like who much is given, much is required. So if I'm great at a job, right, and I'm training you, I'm not training you to be good at that job. I'm training you to be great like me. So if you're going to be great like me, then being good is not good enough. And so when you do good, it's like, okay, you did good, but you can do better because better is going to get you to great. So that's the kind of trainer I am. Like, I will have fun. We'll laugh. I'll tell you what you did right, and I'll tell you what you did wrong. I'll ask you why you did what you did wrong so that there can be a clear understanding of what was not done right. I do not believe in telling people what they've done wrong without them understanding it. If you don't understand it, then to you didn't do the shit wrong. But if you understand what you did wrong, and if you know why you did it, then you don't continue to make that same mistake again. It's kind of like giving ownership to somebody or something. I would love to do that, but I get frustrated too. Like, I'm like, I then told you this 6 times. Why you keep doing the same thing? But hopefully at that point, I will have formed a rapport with you and you won't feel some type of way when I be like, did you just say that? Because I would probably do that. But I would be a good trainer though. Thank you, girl. Million's my daughter. She loves Baby Alive dolls, and she has a YouTube channel. I might have to go watch that. I don't really watch dolls and stuff like that, but I'll watch it. I support you, girl. I support a little Million Baby Alive. Hockey in Life says, I have a question. Oh. All right. Does the job become easy and routine over time, or is it really hard and unpredictable every day? That's a good question. I probably have never thought of that. So I would say that it is a combination of all of those things. And I'll tell you why. So working shift work, you get really used to certain types of calls at certain types of days. So this comes with the routine part of it. So if you work the first shift, you know that you are going to, in that first shift, oh, thank you, Million. That was so sweet. Thank you. In that first shift, you're going to get a lot of car accidents because people are on their way to work. You're going to get a lot of deceased persons, unfortunately. And you're going to get a lot of those calls because people are waking up and finding people in the mornings. You're going to get, those types of things in the morning. Then like mid shift, you're probably going to get, so within like midday, you'll have like your alarms and stuff that may go off, like when businesses are opening. You may have some like civil standbys when people are getting fired, because like that's a big thing. Like when there are layoffs, like they ask for police to come because they already know that it's about to go down. They ask, hey, can y'all have an officer come stand by here because we about to fire some people. That usually happens in the mornings too. They'll either call you early because where I work, the shift start at 7, so they'll call you around 7. They'll call around 7 when they start firing people at 8:30. Hey, can y'all be here at 8 o'clock? Because we're going to start firing people at 8:30. We're going to fill y'all in, and then we're going to start. Like, that happens for real. What else in the mornings? That time of morning. Nothing else I can really think of. You might get told, like, oh, repossessions happen. Ironically, repossessions happen a lot during the day. Like, I thought that they happen, like, mostly in the middle of the night. But they happen during the daytimes too, in the mornings, like usually before lunch. Like as soon as you get to work, like they calling to pick up your shit. Like, no lie. They call it into the non-emergency line. They say, hey, this is so-and-so, especially from those like tote the note places. They'll get you at work. They'll get you when it's real inconvenience. This is Gary's. We always hear from Gary's. This is Gary's. Damn. How many people's lives are y'all ruining today? Jeez. So you got that. Then midday you have I don't know, you get just like random calls. You might have like suspicious persons calls during the day when people just sitting at home looking out the fucking window and they decide they want to call the police on people. That happens during the middle of the damn day, like broad daylight. Again, these people are doing nothing but just walking down the street. Milan says, no, thank you. You helped me so much, girl. If I had more, thank you so much. Like that means a lot. Like I don't ever expect, listen, y'all, I know I had this, what is it called? Cash support, or I don't know what it's even called. I don't know what it's called, but I know I have that here. I think because it's monetized or something. But I don't ever ask for people to give me money or anything. And I appreciate it when people do send me things. And I'm just like, whoa, like I never expect anything. And so thank you. I do this because I love to help people. And it is definitely a calling for me. And it is something that I absolutely love doing. Some people do YouTube for the check. They do YouTube so that they can gain from it. And honestly, the money that I do get from YouTube, I don't want to say not really enough. It is not enough to do anything with but get gas for the month or go take myself out somewhere nice to eat. Like, I mean, it's over $100 because you have to make at least $100 to get paid. But I mean, that's it. It's not much. So I definitely couldn't even pay. I could probably pay an electricity bill if it's over $100. They better not be. But you get what I'm saying. It ain't that much. So I appreciate it. Like I really, really do. Thank you so much. But what I'm saying is 911 dispatching is cool. It's fun. But like you hear some crazy things. Like you hear from people on their worst day, but you also hear the worst of people. You hear people so many times just really thinking the absolute worst. So anyway, midday, you had those random ass calls. Then people start getting off work. That's when it goes down. I loved the second shift because it just went down. Like it was always exciting. I say exciting, but that's when people decide they want to rob places because offices are closing, so they want to get people coming out. That's when people who rode the train to or from work, that's when they get there, or the bus, and they realize that, oh shoot, my car is gone. Somebody stole my car in the middle of the day. Like it wasn't repossessed, so somebody really stole their stuff. Or they get home and the door's kicked in. Like that's when you realize what crime has happened throughout the day. And so you get those delayed calls like, hey, somebody broke in my house, but I don't know when it was, and I don't know what they stole. Or then like, so I worked from 3 to 11 and somebody just asked what's the best shift to work. And I would say they wrote 8 to 4, 2 to midnight overnight. I say 2 to midnight any day, 2 to midnight. If you're a person like me that likes to be busy, 2 to midnight is going to be probably the busiest shift because you get like afternoon traffic, like, rush hour after work traffic. You get, the domestic stuff, like people come home after dinner. You have, like, that's when people are together more and they're not at work. So at work, when people are together, they act civilized, they act decent. But when they go away from work, it's like all hell break loose. And they just start raising all kinds of everything when they get out. So yeah, that's always real crazy. You see disturbances you see more disturbances. Like I'm pretty sure that disturbances are the cause that I've taken the absolute most because there's always a disturbance happening. Always. Maybe it's domestic. It might be a rolling disturbance. And a rolling disturbance is when somebody sees you arguing with somebody in their car, like in your car, like say me and my boyfriend, we arguing and we punching each other. Somebody sees that, they gonna call 911 and say, it's old girl over here beating dude, and they in this car, da 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 da. So that's really cool. Let's see what else happened in the evening. Again, you have burglaries. All of this, honestly, during the mid shift, you probably will encounter the most calls and the most diversity of call types. You have a lot of medical calls as well. Demons and Lord says, I'm having a hard time dispatching fire. They have so many steps in every little thing that we have to do. Sometimes I feel like it's not for me and it makes me sad. One thing I would say with fire is it is a lot of steps because fire dispatch is because the fire department has so many steps and protocols. Like you have to follow those same things and you have to write down everything with fire dispatch. Like with fire, they always, no matter what it is, they have the same plan when they get there. Like if it's a fire, like it's fully involved, like they look at the A side, the B side, the C side, and the D side. They appoint people to do what. If there are people in there, they decide they got to rescue. If they have to rescue first, they'll take down the flame. So it's like all of these things, like a fire is always going to be the same. So I think that you just have to learn that and then understand what the steps are in fire. And it does take a long time to learn, and I don't think they expect you to know what it is right away. Because if you have a structure fire, you're going to be working a structure fire for a while. But the thing about PD is that once it gets to a certain, about FD, is that once it gets to a certain place, you have to add more units, take away apparatus, and there is a lot of steps and there is a lot to do. But you will get it. Don't give up. Please don't give up. I know it's frustrating, but sometimes it may just require you to work a little bit harder outside of work. And I hate working outside of work. But sometimes when it was things that I didn't understand, I had to work outside of work and say, hey, like this is going to be my bread and butter. This is how I have to live. And shit, I don't want to do this right now, but I got to do it because I have to have a job at the end of the day. And so I learned what I needed to learn, or, you move on. You got to do what you got to do, but don't move on until you got something else. I don't want you to give up because of something like that, because that's always going to be a challenge, because when you go somewhere else, there's just going to be something else that's challenging for you. And you can't just give up every time something is hard. You got to keep on going. That is the hard part. The hardest part about that is keeping on. Like that's hard because it's so easy to give up. Like that's easy. I can give up right now, but then what? Like I give up, but what's the outcome of that? Now I don't have a job. Now I've given up, and now I'm going to be regretting the fact that I didn't finish it. So just follow through with it, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to be the best motherfucking fire dispatcher ever. Watch. Don't give up. Please don't give up. You got this. You got it. All right. Hockey and Life says, thanks, Laura. I say thank you. You welcome. Million says, what's the best shift? I think I answered that. Deborah says, when you were training at 911, did you ever get together and study in the evenings while others in training? Girl, no. We never did. Like, there were three of us in my training group, and none of us worked there anymore. Now I was the last one to leave. The other two never got off of phones by themselves. Um, so no, we did not study with each other. Like sometimes in class we would study with each other. We would do role play. I would be a caller, or they would be a caller, or whatever the case is. Or we had certain situations that we have to role play, but never outside of work. Now, sometimes outside of work, me and the other dispatchers would go out for drinks after work if none of us, but we always would plan it ahead of time and say, don't wear your work shirt today, or make sure you bring other clothes so that we can go out for drinks and stuff. Because, being a 911 dispatcher is almost like wearing your 911 clothes is sometimes like wearing a police uniform. Like you just really, it's not really that cool to do out in public. Like people heckle you and they fuck with you like that. Like, and they told us in training, like, don't dress like that. We tell our officers, don't wear your uniform to work. Don't, why are you driving? Change when you get here. Because people prey on law enforcement, obviously. Hockey and Life says, what's the most quiet shift period? Man, I would definitely say in the city that I worked in, the 11 to 7, 11 p, so 2300 to 0700 hours was the quietest shift, but it wasn't like quiet, but it was like they never was busy like we were busy on second shift. If it was a storm, the third shift is anytime it's a storm, everybody's busy because the alarm companies the alarms start going off like with the winds and shit and stuff. I need to quit cussing so much. But that's another thing. When you're a 911 dispatcher, you're going to start cussing like a fucking sailor. You're like, I didn't even know I could put combinations of cuss words like that together. But you become proud of yourself. You become a master cursor. You do. But during storms, you have a lot of alarms. And that usually happens overnight. That's when you get a lot of the prowler calls. So people like looking in people's windows, peeping toms as they call them. Sometimes you get like the burglaries when people burglarizing homes and things like that. A lot of those things happen at night, and they don't happen too often. But you also get those domestic calls at night, like that's when, husband is beating on wife or vice versa, and, and all of this. And those are the challenging ones. And the ones when you are speaking with someone who's hiding in the closet because someone's breaking into their home, like those calls happen in that shift. So you definitely have the more dangerous crimes, I think, happen during that shift because that's night. I think the most dangerous calls happen that time, but they don't have as many calls. Like when I worked, I did stay over onto that shift some when I did overtime. And so I remember the first time I'm like, man, it's slow. But then like the calls that I took were like, oh, what the fuck? What was that? Like, somebody, I'm telling you, the first time I took a call when somebody was hiding in a closet, I was like, what the? I had to take out my jacket. I got hot. I'm like, oh, man. I'm sitting here, and first thing I'm talking to my friends, and then I hear, doo-doo, and I answer the phone. 911's the address of your emergency. It's like, hello, please come to this. My husband, somebody breaking him. Oh, Lord. Oh. She's like, should I hide? Man, I can't even tell you what to do. I can't say that, but I have to be like, ma'am, I cannot advise you to do this or that. I can't say advice. Do whatever you think is safe. Do whatever you think is best to keep yourself safe and out of danger. That's it. Do whatever you feel is best that's going to keep you safe and out of danger. I hated saying that. It made me feel scared. Everybody good. Thank y'all for giving Demon just so much love and support. I really appreciate that. And they say, thank you. I don't want to give up until I know I tried my hardest. Thank you again. And Deborah can't thank you too. I won't give up. Yeah, like that's why I like y'all so much. That's why I love y'all, because y'all stick together. We stick with each other, and we not feel like people be writing some bull stuff sometimes, and like that. Like, I get angry when people call me names like, yeah, I remember it's like been people on here that call me like fat, black, ugly, burnt chicken nugget. This man called me once. That one was actually funny, but it was ridiculous, but it made me laugh. But I'm like, you're a fucking ass. Blah. But y'all, like, before I even read the comments, y'all be on them like, I'm like, that's why I mess with y'all. Y'all, you know, y'all fucks with your girl. Y'all, I get excited, y'all. Okay, let me answer these few questions, because I have been here a whole hour and I meant to only be here like 20 minutes. Like, look what y'all do to me, y'all. Suck me in every time. You just keep me going. Deborah says, study, you got this. I have a friend that's a firefighter. He will say, give it time. You're going to rock this job. Get a study buddy. You would. How did it feel when you were on your own, Cotton? And, sir, that was scary. Like, I remember the first day I was on my own. I sat down at the console. Like, the way that it happens is you take your test. So you get there, you meet with your trainer. Your trainer tells you, you know, like, I think you're good. I think you're ready to be released. You go in there, you take your test with the training department. They grade it, and then you pass, and then you are released. Like, it's your release test. You've answered like all of the call types. You know what to do and all of that stuff. And then it's just like, man. And so I remember like the first time I answered a call myself and I didn't know what to do next. Like, it's not that I didn't know what to do, but like usually I had my trainer and I could always be like, yo, Bree. That wasn't her name. I just looked. That's my old boss name. Y'all never heard me. I was like, yo, Bree. Like, I always ask her for help, but like now I couldn't ask her for help. Like, I couldn't ask anybody for help. I could ask for help, but you know, we just made this big deal. Like, okay, everybody, Laura just passed and she is a call take on her own now. You know, everybody's like, woo, I'm on my own by myself. And then be like, hey, now what would you do? Like, nah. But I did ask, like, when in doubt, you better ask. Ask. Always ask if you don't know. So I ain't know. I asked the supervisor, hey, if da-da-da-da-da-da. She was like, Laura, you know. And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, yes, you do. And I thought about it. I was like, okay, I do know. And so I handled it. And I think the more you do things, just this is obvious, but the more you do things, you get more comfortable with those things. And the more calls I took, the more comfortable I came with taking them on my own. I was very nervous at first. Like that first day, I was scared because I knew I was going to mess up really more than the first day, like a lot of days. I knew that I might mess up and stuff, and I didn't want to so bad. So I had to really focus on not necessarily not just messing up, but being okay. Now I'm going to say if I did mess up, but being okay with going in and saying to the supervisor, hey, I need help, or I don't understand this, or, you know, help me to do this better. And, you know, luckily we had a great QA department of quality assurance who listen to a lot of our calls when you're in training. And so they do a lot of opportunities of coaching and really guiding you and helping you to get a lot better at it. But I was scared. I went with fear and trembling. I was terrified. All right, Hockey and Light says, after you finish with a stressful call, are you allowed to swear and let your anger out, or do you get in trouble? Oh, no, everybody swears there, like everyone. Like, I mean, sometimes during calls, you might put a call in and you hearing them talk and you type in and you might just push mute, like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it's like people do that all the time. That's why you cuss so much, because you hear the most peculiar things all the time. You hear the most peculiar things all the time that you're just like, wait, what did I really? Like, I remember this one time this lady said, she said something. What did she say? Oh, it was listen, People say the craziest thing. It was a translator, and she said that the woman cut her veins. Now, I understood at first that she cut her bangs, because that's what she said. She said bangs. Like she got scissors and she was cutting her hair, and she was cutting her bangs and ended up cutting her fingers. But when the police got there, the lady literally cut her veins, like her fucking veins, her wrist. So that's like a whole suicide attempt versus like a medical call. Like you got to send the police out to something like that. But anyway, I don't even know if that was part of the question. Oh, about swearing. Yeah, you can swear, just not on the phone. Like, you have to use proper etiquette. Sometimes a dispatcher might yell across the room, it's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, hell, I don't fucking know. Yeah, that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. You'll learn to cuss real good. I told you you're going to learn to cuss real good when you're not on one dispatcher. Man. Demons and Lord says, Deborah Vance, that's what I'm going to do while at home. I'm going to go over my notes and just study. Yep, you better study. Milan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. It's just so much to study. I love this group. Yes, it is a lot to study. Yeah, but you got it. Like it's a lot to study, but again, repetition. And the more you do it, the more familiar you become with it. Like my new job, I can't talk about it, but and I won't talk about it probably until after I don't work there. And even then I won't talk about it. But it is one of those highly confidential jobs. Wait, was that the point that I was trying to make you say? Oh, no, learn new stuff. Yeah, it's one of those jobs that's highly confidential, so that's why I can't talk about it. But it's one of those jobs that I've never done anything like this. It's a field that's totally new for me. Like it is, I feel like I am in a brand new land, and I don't even know how to navigate those waters. But I am gleaning as much knowledge and information as I can. I am just trying to learn so much about the field and about, all those things so that I can be the absolute best at what I have to do and in my role. So super excited about that. I love learning, but it is tough. We get like daily reports at work, 2 of them, 2 daily reports, and I don't understand anything that those daily reports say because they are all with abbreviations. Like everything is abbreviated with 3-letter abbreviations, and I know what none of them mean. And it is frustrating reading a report with 3-letter abbreviations and a name and a time, and you have no idea what the 3-letter abbreviations mean. So the name and the time mean nothing to you because you don't even know what the letters mean. So it's just like, I get it. I totally get it. So we can work on that together. You work on your fire procedures, your fire SOPs, and I will work on learning what all of these acronyms mean. And but I was right there with you. Trying to learn car makes and car models and just all of these things. Learning syntax. Like syntax is freaking nuts. How you have to know there's so many codes to even get things into the system. Like we're not even gonna go there, but yeah, that's a lot. And every agency's syntax is different. So Milan asks, can you ask the officer to repeat something? Yes, you can, but like we don't like to ask them to repeat stuff because sometimes they be assholes, just like they are assholes sometimes when they do dumbass shit to people. They do dumbass shit to us. Like I might be not paying attention. I mean, I'm paying, or for example, at my agency that I work for, when officer had traffic is called, like anything on the radio traffic. When officer had traffic, they would key up and say, this is Paul 9. He's like, Paul 19 traffic. Like that means Paul 19. And you say, go ahead, Paul 19. And then Paul 19 will say, I did NCIC. say, can we go ahead and can we run somebody code 10? And I say, go ahead. And at that time, I'm putting in the syntax. And they know, most officers know in which order to give you the information. Now, code 10 requires a lot of information. So they got to give me the first name, the last name, the race, the gender, the birthday, and the reason for the code 10. Which is usually, code 10 is like I say, their background. So it's like, okay. So I got to remember all of this stuff. And so when they run it to me, they're going to go like this. This is Paul 14 or whatever number I said. Need you to run one code 10. Go ahead, Paul 10. So I got to put in whatever syntax, P10. Go ahead with the last name. Boy, Robert, Young, Adam, Nora, Tom. First name, Lincoln, Adam, Union, Robert, Adam. Date of birth, 10/16/1992. Black female, for burglary. Now, that's out of the order of my syntax. But I have to still remember what the fuck they said and put it in the right order so that I can get the correct information. So if I don't put it in the right order, I can't get the correct information. Now, let's say I hear he doesn't spell the name phonetically. And as I'm spelling my last name, he says Bryant and Laura, and I don't get the Bryant. I just hear the Bryant. Then I come up with the names, and I'm not finding the information that matches what he's giving me. Then I have to ask him, can you repeat that? And then sometimes, like I said, they're tools, and they'll be like, I said, boy, Robert, Young, Adam, Nora, Tom. First name, Lincoln, Adam, Union, Robert, Black, female, date of birth, 10/16/92, burglary. Like, they do dumb stuff like that, like to be condescending. You just say, received. Like, that's it. Like, we don't do pleasantries on the radio, so you don't say thank you. Like, they might tell you thank you, received. Bye, Felicia. Anyway, who is it is Travis in training or have a few years on them already? Nobody look like. Deborah says, Laura has boosted my confidence so much, and I wanted to do this job so badly. Sorry we kept you so long today, but it's only because we love you. Thanks for being our inspiration. Y'all are too much. Please. No photos, please. Like, stop it, guys. Stop it. No, seriously, y'all inspire me. Y'all help me to do better. Like, literally, I would have been sitting in there watching TV, probably watching something on CNN, getting depressed, or looking at Facebook and getting mad at something because somebody wrote me a message today, and don't quite know how to feel. Well, I know how to feel about it, but I don't know how to respond to it. So I'm trying to not respond to it, but my soul is telling me to go ahead and say something. So I got to put my words together. I like to sound eloquent in my words because I like to put people in place. I like to smack you down with my words. I like to massacre you with my vocabulary. So that's what I plan to do. She said, LOL, no pics. Like, please. No pics, please. But I do look cute today. So I don't know. She said, go straight off the dome. Listen, I could. I want to go to karaoke today, but oh man, I got all these notifications. Somebody starting. I hate when people be starting these live videos on Instagram because I get all of these little notifications and I think that I got friends and I think that people love me, and then I just see that ain't the case. Oh, thank you, Milan, for subscribing. That's so sweet. Okay. Anyway, y'all, let me go. Let me go, y'all, because I am kind of tired a little bit, but I need to get ready for the weekend. This weekend is going to be I'm so excited for the weekend. So I gotta get my clothes washed. I ain't going nowhere, but I'm just excited. I gotta start preparing now, do my laundry, wash my sheets, and do my floors. And then I got an email today that my boss and the vice president of our organization, they're coming to my house next week. And so I got to get prepared for that. Like, it's exciting. They might just come to the door, but I'm going to be prepared with glasses of wine and flowers and confetti because that's what I do when you come over to my house. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope, ouch, that hurt. Shit. I'm getting old when I clap, it hurts. Like, why? Oh no. Look, my Bed Bath & Beyond, I just got an email. Bed Bath & Beyond said that it's back in stock. I ordered this duvet for my comforter and I paid for it and it didn't even come. And they said that it was out of stock. And so I had to get another one that wasn't my number one choice. And now it's got an email that it's back in stock. That's not okay. Not okay. Anyway, guys, let me know what y'all want me to talk about in my next video. This one, like I said, it was about race and dealing with citizens. I like to give you POVs or points of views that you maybe wouldn't have thought of, because a lot of times we focus in law enforcement or in dispatch, we focus on the officer, when officers, sometimes they go to people because of investigations, because there's something that they've seen. But like 9 times out of 10, it's because some scary ass, random ass person is called 911 because a Black person is walking down a street that they didn't build. Go figure. Anyway, guys, have a great day. Love you. And I will see you next time. Bye.